You're listening to the Defrowe Airsoft Podcast, hosted by Stuart Rowe. Meet the legend. Meet the legend. Get to know a local airsoft legend as we take a deep dive and find out all about their call sign, equipment, local airsoft scene, play style, dreams, and the story behind their best Instagram photos. Now, let's meet today's legend.
Hey everyone, welcome to the first Defrowe podcast. Today we're here with our special guest, Dan. Let's jump in. All right, round one, behind the call sign. So, Dan, can you tell me about your call sign?
Don't know if I really have a call sign yet, so yeah, there's not really much of a story behind it. I guess everyone calls me Dan. I mean, when I play video games and stuff, I usually use the name Black, but that is kind of people are a bit funny about that. So
yeah, I think you made the right choice going with Dan.
Yeah, fair dues.
All right, man. How'd you get into airsoft?
Well, actually, I was playing a bit of airsoft and stuff back in the UK when I was like in high school. There was like a field I used to go to, and basically they would let me play for free in exchange for me making videos for them. It was kind of like an indoor CQB kind of field. And I used to really enjoy that. But then didn't really play it much since then. And after moving to Japan, didn't play it at all for the first few years I was here. And actually around about a year ago now, like exactly a year ago, I think that's when I met you, and you then took me to a field, and then I started playing here. So,
oh yeah, that was like a year ago.
It was like.
Do you still have any of those like videos from that old CQB?
Possibly they might still exist on the dark parts of YouTube or something like that, but I can see if I can dig them up.
Cool. They might be fun to see. All right, man. So what was your first gun? Why did you buy it? And how do you feel about it now?
Well, I mean, technically the first gun was the one that you lent me, which
well, you didn't. Oh, it was your first gun, yeah, but you did not buy that.
I did not. I definitely.
You also quickly returned that.
Yes. Due to BBs not coming out the front of it.
Yes, it was trash. Not anymore. Now it's a beast. It's 40 RPS now.
Oh, nice. First gun I got was the HK416, which is still the same thing I use now. The Tokyo Next Generation. Reason I bought it was mainly because it seemed like quite a versatile platform. It also seemed to have like, I like the idea of there being like the recoil and stuff like that without me having to spend loads of money on gas. And also there was the I like the bolt lock thing as well. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, the bolt lock's great. It makes reloading so much better.
Yeah, so those were basically the main reasons I bought it. It was like it had nice heavy weight to it. It kind of felt like a real weapon or real gun or whatever. So yeah, that's why I got it.
How do you feel about it now? Do you still feel the same way?
Yeah, still feel more or less the same way about it. Still use it for.
Well, you bring it to every game, so it makes sense.
I bring it to every single game, whether it's CQB or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty versatile. I do like it.
Nice. Yeah, Mayday's got one too, it seems. All right. Yeah. What's your biggest strength and weakness as a player?
Biggest strength and weakness. I would say weakness is like I can get prone to tilting.
Only in Yokohama though.
It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it gets really bad. Like I've had, like I used to play this VR shooting game Onward competitively, and like when things are not going well, they can quickly spiral out of control. So it can be I can find it a bit tough to kind of like get back in the zone, especially when I've been cautioned about something by like a ref or something. It doesn't happen very often. Had the same thing with kendo as well. Like where that kind of stuff just throws me off a lot. Strength, I guess, have like a general game sense. Like I used to play a lot of video games, so kind of I'd like to think I'm pretty good at like predicting people's movements and kind of judging the timings for when people are going to be at certain places. Um, because that's the same kind of skill you'd use in all kinds of online games, Call of Duty, Warzone, whatever,
Yeah,
or
it's just
Apex
like
Legends. And
I find you're really good at like prediction and situation awareness. So like you kind of
yeah,
know what the enemy's going to do, and you can lay pretty good traps. So
yeah, I'd like to think I'm okay at doing so. Definitely something I still need to work on, but yeah.
also, like, man, you're pretty good at inspiring the team. So like your like
Oh,
Braveheart speeches, getting everyone to charge into the enemy base, like that's
yeah.
definitely a strength.
Oh yeah, that's mostly for comedic value though. I feel
Yeah, but the efficacy is
tonight we
amazing.
dine
Like
in
we
hell.
took that
Yeah,
base in like 20 seconds after everyone got
that,
motivated.
that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, all right. So why do you play Airsoft?
Um, so for me, it's kind of it's kind of like a fun sport, but it's also kind of a bit like role playing. Like it's kind of got a bit of both. It's like all the cool parts of what you do in video games and stuff like that without any of the horrors and atrocities that come with real war. Um, so there's that kind of like player versus player kind of sport competitive aspect, which is quite fun. All the gear and stuff is kind of cool as well, like wearing all the plate carriers and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
Who does that? Yeah.
yeah, and designing like your kind of loadout and thinking about like um what kind of like forces or unit you're trying to like emulate or whatever with your design and stuff is kind of cool. Um,
Yeah, I
yeah, I can
change
definitely
my
see.
loadout slightly for every game, and yeah, that takes like 1 hour or 2 hours just to adjust like the badges and the patches and stuff, just so it's a little bit more efficient each time. And I think the continual improvement is just so much fun. How you can adjust your gun, you can adjust your gear each time, and play slightly better. So those like iterations of improvement is so much fun.
Yeah, that's something I really like. And that's true in anything. Like when you play video games or like when you go to the gym or when learning a language or whatever. Like seeing those incremental improvements and being able to get better and better each time is something that's really really fun. Like you kind of feels like you're doing something worthwhile.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's move on to round two. I want to hear your preferences in regards to Airsoft.
Okay.
Number one, favorite attachment, favorite Airsoft brand, favorite game type, favorite after Airsoft beverage.
All right. Okay. So for attachment, I really like flashlights,
Oh, I know.
especially in a CQV, the really bright ones. You just
Oh,
come around
yeah.
the corner and you like flash someone. Um,
You totally haven't done that to me 100 times.
no, no, I mean, I like to save it for occasions. I don't use it all the time, do I? Right. Um, so I feel like yeah, it's pretty versatile. I mean, things like optics and stuff like that obviously are super important. Um, most other things on my airsoft rifle are mainly for aesthetics, I feel. Um, as for airsoft brand, I would guess probably Tokyo Marui. All my stuff is Tokyo Marui.
Yep. Yeah, me too.
Um, I, as you know, I try and are away from like customizing stuff too much. I kind of
Or
prefer to
buying more
have
than one
something.
gun.
Yeah, I don't buy more than one gun. I kind of like something that performs well at stock, is versatile enough that I can use it in indoor fields and outdoor fields without having to make kind of like adjustments or customizations to the internals at least. I do like changing the attachments around and messing with that kind of stuff. That's a little bit of fun, but I'm not such a big fan of like breaking it open to like tinker with it too much.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember when me and you tried to build our own M4, and 9 hours later we did not succeed.
No, so that was kind of like eye-opening. I was like, yeah, maybe this is something like that would be someone with more experience. It's something I would like to maybe get into eventually. I kind of feel with the restrictions and stuff in Japan, there is a little the benefit from the tinkering is um not quite as good as you would get in somewhere where you can shoot at much larger ranges with higher speeds and stuff like that.
Sure, if you could do a
Um,
DMR build, definitely. But yeah, in Japan, trigger response
yeah,
builds or high cycle builds are kind of all we have.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, like yeah, and yeah. So anyway, game type, I guess. Game type. I do like the ones with. I don't know, for like the first few games, I like ones with respawns to kind of like warm up and kind of just get in the zone. Kind
You
of
can
like
learn the map.
you learn the map and stuff, especially if it's the first time at a field. Um, but in general, I do like games with like some sort of objective.
Hmm.
Um, the when I was at Gay Paradise, they had some really good game modes where like it was almost like in Overwatch where you got to like push the cart or Team Fortress 2 or whatever, where you got to like push the cart and the other team's like attacking and defending kind of thing. It was like that, but they had a Jeep that they were driving through this course.
Like a
So you had
real
like
Jeep.
yeah, it was a real Jeep, and
Nice.
they had like set up like roadblocks and stuff like that. So the Jeep was moving in a kind of winding pattern and stuff. So it kind of worked exactly the same as it does in those video games. Um, and you got to like try and using the Jeep for cover and stuff like that as you try and push it. But like if there's a few roadblocks, so you have to like clear the roadblocks and stuff like that. But that's where enemy ambushes are and stuff. Like, yeah, it was really good fun.
Man, I can't believe I
Um,
missed out on that game. That sounds amazing.
yeah, it was pretty good.
All right. Favorite after airsoft beverage?
After airsoft beverage, I guess probably well recently I've been drinking nothing but highball, so I guess I'd say that.
Yeah, definitely
Um,
highballs.
yeah,
So,
it was.
can you just explain what a highball is in case people don't use that
Oh,
word?
right, yeah. Oh, yeah. So highball is basically just like a whiskey and soda. Um, so when I say soda, I mean like carbonated water. So it's not. It doesn't have like obviously a rum and coke, like whiskey and coke, rum and coke is like much nicer. But I'm still recovering from the amount of weight that I put on during lockdown from not moving at all. So
We all
uh,
are. We all are.
yeah, anything I can do to try and cut down on the sugar just a little bit um, helps. I mean, drinking alcohol is not ideal, but you gotta relax sometimes.
Yeah, when in Rome. All right.
Exactly.
So let's have a look at local airsoft now.
Okay.
Please let me know all about this. So first, how much do you usually spend on airsoft?
Um. So
You can
in
answer
terms of
this
like
question any way you like.
okay, so in terms of like the gear and stuff, way more than I would like to think about.
Yeah, that new
Um.
green BDU and the vest that you got does not look cheap.
It wasn't cheap at all. I mean, it's all relative, right? I mean, to how little the yen is currently worth. But anyway, um, as for the games itself, it usually is about 5,000 yen a game, I guess. Once you factor in like transport and buying BBs and stuff like that, maybe you need to top up on gas, and then it can get a bit more expensive.
Yeah,
When going to further fields, the price goes up a bit more. So anywhere between 5 to 10,000 yen a pop. And the super local places like Shinjuku Breakpoint and stuff, it usually works out about 5,000 yen.
yeah, yeah, about 4,000 for the game, and then like 1,000 for some BBs or gas or something.
Yeah. So
Okay,
yeah,
what about
it
like
works out.
guns? How much are guns here?
So guns in Japan are. So I don't know if they're expensive or not. I mean, they kind of feel expensive to me, but that's just my salary is super low. But the they're not too bad, I guess. Like they're typically about I don't know 40 to 50,000. I mean, I buy almost all my stuff secondhand because it saves quite a bit of money.
Me too.
So yeah, it's nothing too crazy. I know some people who spend like well over 1 million yen on like one weapon system or whatever, but that probably is not so much money to them. So I know it's all relative, I guess.
Yeah, it's all relative. All right. So what's the selection of local fields like? Do you need to travel far to play?
For me, luckily I'm based in Shinjuku, so like it's only I could basically walk to the closest field. That's probably the one I go to the most. Anywhere else,
we're going there today
like,
after this, so yeah.
We are going there today after this, so it's like oh, you fancy doing this? Yeah, sure, why not? Kind of thing. It's like it's super relaxed.
Low barrier of entry.
Yeah, but I mean, like also they have like a time system as well, so you pay for how long you're there, rather than like it being a whole day thing or it even being a half day thing. Like you could literally go there for just a couple hours if you really wanted to.
Yeah, just in and out.
Yeah. Most of the outdoor fields and stuff are located in Chiba, which is you're looking at like maybe about an hour on the train.
Yeah.
There's a couple good places. There's a good place in Yokohama.
Not. But it's the hotel, right? The hotel's the good place.
The hotel's the good place. Thing is
not the other one that we're not gonna name drop.
Yeah, we're not gonna mention. The Area 41 was also really good.
Yeah, Area 41 is dope.
Yeah. And if you go to Fusan stuff, heading to the west side, you got like Black Fox and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good. Yeah. I mean, they all kind of cater to different things. Black Fox and stuff is a bit more like
it's speed soft.
Speed soft, speed QB or whatever, right? Yeah. So you can run around, you can be a bit more active. A lot of the other places are kind of a bit more for like it's almost like a touristy thing kind of thing. Like some of the fields are a bit more like they're aimed at people who have no experience with airsoft.
There's also that one in Odaiba that's like for people on dates.
Yeah, like the one in Odaiba would definitely seem like it was more aimed for dates and for people and for kids, basically.
If you want to go on a date and shoot a kid, like this is where you go.
Yeah, I mean, well, unfortunately, about however you want to impress.
Yes. Let me reiterate: this is airsoft. We're not condoning shooting real kids.
Yes, yeah, that's not good.
But yeah, there was so many people on dates when we went there. That was just the weirdest thing. Yeah. All right. I mean, so, what's a typical airsoft game like in Japan?
So you mean like in terms of like how the day runs, or like how do people play, kind of thing? Like
both.
Both. Okay. In terms of like, like usually, I mean, depending on the size of the field and stuff, there's usually like your typical standard game modes like attack and defend, where like attackers can respawn, defenders can't respawn, capture the flag kind of thing. You got to get to the other enemy. You got to get to the enemy base and like hit some sort of buzzer or something like that. One's elimination, where you got like no respawns. The first team to be eliminated lose. Whatever.
Yeah, like last man standing.
Yeah. And yeah, typically these games just run one after another. Like usually with like a few minute break in between, so people can reload and all this other kinds of stuff. In terms of play style, again, this really largely depends on the field and stuff. But like, I mean, relative to my experience when I was playing in the UK, like people here tend to be a lot more passive and spend a lot more time like peeking and shooting from cover without moving so much.
Holding angles.
Yeah, they hold angles and it seems very, very static. Which is something like I understand, like when I was playing Onward competitively and stuff like that, we would basically lock down certain angles and certain people have certain responsibilities to protect certain areas and stuff. And so there is like to play the most competitively efficient way to win, camping or holding angles and stuff like that is actually very effective, rather than like aimlessly running around and stuff like that. But I kind of feel like for me personally, like the reason I'm playing airsoft is more for fun than necessarily like don't get me wrong, I like to win and I like to get better and stuff. But it's more about having fun and getting some exercise and that kind of stuff. So I like the movement. I like being able to run around and jump between cover and cover and stuff,
I,
even if it is not necessarily
Well, it's not the most
most
efficient,
effective
but
thing.
we get, great footage by doing that. And I normally just joke around to people and just say, like, I only camp when I'm tired. So I'll do like 3 or 4
Mhm.
rounds where we're running around everywhere, and then I'm tired. So I'll just camp around to get my energy back. But that camping around's boring, and the footage is useless because no one wants to watch footage of you just
Yeah,
hiding under a chair for 10 minutes.
yeah. So I mean, like, yeah. So the camping thing is less is if you really want to win, then it makes sense. But if you really want to have fun, then it doesn't.
Yeah, and
And
fun's
it
more
kind of
important.
feels, yeah. I also kind of feel like a lot of the fields here, especially the ones which are the ones where you have to walk and stuff, they kind of almost encourage the passiveness
They
because
force that gameplay because you're not allowed to run. And as soon
yeah,
as you
so you
move, you
can't
get shot.
exactly. So you can't move between cover to cover because you have to move slowly, and if you move slowly between covers, you're going to get shot. So it kind of like forces people to hide behind barriers and kind of like hold an angle and then just kind of hope the other team comes to them.
Basically,
Um, which
sometimes they
I,
don't, and you just get both teams waiting for each other.
yeah, which is not great in my opinion.
It is not.
So which is why I kind of prefer the game modes where they kind of force one team to take the initiative and
Yeah,
um, go to a point or something like that, or have to achieve some sort of goal.
no,
Um,
I agree 100%. Those are way more interesting. All right. Are there any restrictions in Japan that are notable?
so there's definitely quite a fairly strict restriction on how fast the BBs can be fired and stuff. I mean, it slightly varies from field to field. Indoor fields are a bit stricter. Um, a lot of fields don't let you use stuff like grenade launchers and muscat or that kind of stuff, which is a shame.
Because you bought one and
Um,
can't use it.
yeah, well, I sold it now because I
Okay.
can't use it. Um, yeah, what else is there? Yeah, the walking thing is interesting.
Yeah,
I
the,
don't
the
know if
no the no running rule inside is, yeah.
yeah, and I can understand it from like a safety perspective in some places, especially when the target audience is less experienced people who are just trying airsoft for the first time. People can get a bit carried away, run straight into a wall and KO themselves and stuff. I get it.
We also have
Um,
like the triple tap stuff. So at some fields, you can only fire 3 rounds at a time, especially for indoor fields. The 3 tap
yeah,
rule.
yeah, that's also another rule that exists in those typically in those type of fields. And again, I understand that they want to reduce
But
overkilling and stuff like that,
reduce
but
the fun.
it yeah, basically. Um, and I guess that also, I guess the reason behind it is also to kind of counter the speed TV thing or the paintball thing, where people like literally just like constantly fire down a lane to like lock it off and stuff.
But yeah, as
Yeah,
they do have ammo restrictions. So like some fields will be like 100 rounds per game or 300 rounds per game, which definitely stops feathering and cover fire. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
all right. I want to hear a little bit about your play style now. So let's move on to
okay,
round 4. How do you feel about camping versus attacking? You've already kind of covered this, but
yeah, I kind of touched on it. Yeah, so like again, I camping has its place, and I understand it in certain situations. It for me personally, I don't think it is very fun. Um, but I I tried to not get like annoyed at someone if they're camping a corner and that's how they want to play. That more power to them, kind of thing.
then we
I
just get out
personally
our grenades.
exactly. You got to think they create a problem that you have to try and find a solution to,
Yeah.
and I think that's part of the fun of airsoft.
It is problem
Um,
solving is the most fun part of Airsoft. All right.
mm,
Respawn modes versus non-respawn modes.
Again, I have like mixed feelings about this. Some respawn modes can often lead to it just being a battle of attrition at certain choke points. Um, and depending on the map design, so that can kind of cause issues. But non-respawn modes, like sometimes you get hit by a stray BB at the start, and you're like, oh no, okay, now I'm going to sit down for 10 minutes, which can suck. But in general, I would say I'd probably go with non-respawn modes. It kind of makes you play a bit more tactically and a little bit more carefully and treat that one life a bit more preciously than the respawn modes where you can 300 Sparta suicide charge as much as
that
you
is fun,
can.
though.
It is fun, yeah.
But I like non because just the game doesn't change when you have a respawn game. But when you're doing non-respawn, the bottlenecks can change and the engagements can change. And like you can flank the enemy, you can get into the base, you can come up behind them if you can break through the lines. But when you're doing respawn, it is almost impossible to break through a line.
Yeah, and often like a lot of the times those respawn modes have restrictions on where you can go, so you can't flank the enemy.
You can't.
So
they lock off the midpoint of the map and say you can't go past it.
Yeah, so then you then have this like line that doesn't ever move, so there's no real gain or loss. And so like in theory, the most logical way to play those kind of game modes is to get one kill and then like hide for the remainder of the time in order to win. And I don't think you should be really encouraging that kind of meta
because it's not fun.
But in my opinion, it isn't. Yeah.
Okay, solo versus team.
So again, both of these things have merits. Definitely prefer team play. Just doing like room clearing and stuff like that, even if there's no enemy or whatever, there's no shooting. It's just really fun and tense when you're doing it with a team and stuff, and you've got everyone covering different angles and moving together. There's that kind of synergy. That's really cool.
You also get the benefit of refrags.
Yeah. So like you get a teammate get taken down, you can quickly get the refrag on that person, whatever. Sort of play does like sort of play can be fun. Especially when I know you're the last one on the team. You got one-on-one or whatever. And you got that kind of like pressure to
That's nice. I like that.
With everyone watching you. It can go either really well or horribly, and it's nice when it goes well.
Yeah, no, I really like that when you can carry the team and get like a really cool like last minute is just you versus the last person on the team. Yeah, that's always great.
Yeah.
Okay, indoor versus outdoor.
It feels like it's been so long since we've done the outdoor game.
We haven't done outdoor since like my MP5 froze when we were playing in like 0 degrees down in Chiba. Yeah, we had to have like a bonfire out of that like barrel.
Yeah, it can be pretty intense. The weather here, so yeah, we haven't played outdoor mainly because of the heat of the summer as well. So outdoor definitely has the type of gameplay which I personally prefer. And kind of requires a bit more movement and stuff like that. It kind of encourages people to like run to get into positions and stuff like that. And
your camo works.
Camo works, and there's also a little bit less restriction on things typically.
Yeah.
Indoor I do enjoy indoor though. I do like doing the whole clearing thing and the room clearing and stuff. So if the indoor field is closer to like an actual building layout rather than the one with the kind of like the artificially set up boards.
Yeah.
I really like that.
So the hotel.
So the hotel and stuff. That's not to say the one with the boards are bad. It's just that the play style for those types of places tend to lend themselves more to the kind of like speed QB stuff, which is something that I think is really cool and stuff, but something I'm perhaps a little bit less interested in doing myself.
Yeah, for me, it's just all about angles. I find like when we play a realistic environment, you know what the angles are. But when you have an artificial environment, like where we went in Yokohama, it was like 5 to 10 angles in one room, and there was no way that you could cover everything, and you're always getting shot in the back or in the side from somewhere you didn't notice. All right, we just got our 10-minute warning, so let's speed up a little bit.
Okay.
Quick answer: high caps or low caps?
Low caps.
Electric, spring, gas, or HPA?
If I was rich, gas, but definitely electric.
All right, let me hear about your ideal stuff. What is your dream airsoft gun?
My dream airsoft gun would be a gas blowback HK416.
So the same thing you got now, but in gas.
Yeah, same thing I got, but just in gas. Yeah.
VFC have a very, very nice one. I think I sent it to you on Insta.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I had to look at that. Yeah.
What is your ideal airsoft event?
Basically what I was doing in Summergate Paradise when I went that one time. Like they had all these cool events and game modes and stuff where you had to like escort a member of staff who was like a agitated VIP who you have to calm down, like escort from point to point and stuff. They had like you could call in airstrikes and like helicopter gunships and stuff like that to attack certain coordinates and things. So everyone in the game had to have comms.
Comms are the best.
Yeah, so it's like, and then like basically it felt like Battlefield but with airsoft and stuff, and that's the ideal thing for me. Like maybe a nice large field with those kind of mechanics, kind of one life game mode, so you kind of treasure that life. And,
dude, that sounds great. I'm definitely joining the next game there.
Yeah.
Okay, who would be on your dream airsoft team?
I mean, the guys I currently play with are awesome.
Yeah, we are pretty good.
So yeah, like yourself and Mayday, I always enjoy playing with you guys. So like definitely on it. I mean that guy from the US Navy who was playing with us the other day at the hotel,
he was amazing. Like perfect form going around all the corners and stuff.
Yeah. I was like, teach me your ways, master. Yeah, I definitely want to be his disciple.
Yeah. They're going to join us for some future games so they can give us some pointers. But yeah, definitely real military make all the games way more fun.
Oh yeah, 100%. And they seem to enjoy it a lot as well because it's like without the pressure of the real stuff, it's just fun for them. So
all right. For the next part, I know you've got a 416 that you absolutely love. So I would like you to persuade me to buy this gun. Tell me the good things about it and see if you can get me to buy it. So
yeah, well, it's not for sale. So
for example, like, excuse me, I'm looking to buy a new gun. What do you recommend?
Well, 100% the HK416. It's the only gun you need. You declutter all of your stash, where you hide all your guns from your wife or whatever, and you'll you just have that one thing that you can use in close quarters. You can use it. It's reliable at long range. It has enough rails and stuff for it to be customizable. I mean, it's very similar to an M4. But I don't know. I feel like again a lot of airsoft is just the whole like role playing thing as well. So it's just down to what gun you like the look of, really.
Does it fit your character? Does it fit your play style?
Yeah. So I mean, like my first loadout was based on the US Navy SEAL, so the 416 was a pretty obvious option.
Okay, I have gone to your Instagram and I've selected 3 pictures.
Okay.
Hopefully these pictures will be a surprise. Can you tell me the backstory of these pictures? Give them more context. Right, here is the first one.
Okay, so that was Summergate Paradise with the F4 Phantom in the background. Yeah, that was actually, as I was walking, the photographer there was actually really, really good.
Yeah, I can tell. It's a pretty good photo.
Yeah, he like all the photos from that day were like on point. and like there was like a group of guys that did like a photo shoot with him afterwards and stuff. It was crazy. But yeah, that was literally as the game had finished. I was just walking back to the safety area, and the guy was just like, "Oh, do you want to take a picture?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I just did that pose and took it. And I looked at it, I was like, "Dude, that looks sick."
I thought this was like a 2-hour photo shoot, but it's just you walking back to base.
No, it was literally me just walking back to base. Yeah.
All right. How about this one?
This was.
Are you using two shields in this picture?
I am using two shields. Because this is the game where there's two shields, and I killed the guy with the other shield and claimed his shield as mine. And then I decided that I would be a boss that just plows through the different lanes with someone behind me shooting at all times. So
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, last one. How about this one?
Okay, that was actually from my first ever airsoft game in Japan, which was about a year ago from now at Desert Union, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's me lying down like a dude.
With that trash M4.
With the trash M4. Just like which drizzles BBs out the end. Yeah.
All right, man. Last question. What's your greatest airsoft accomplishment?
The greatest airsoft accomplishment. Oh man. There was one time I solo took a base and did the objective at Area 41. I thought that was pretty cool. I got myself a couple decent kills, and then also did a sick transition to pistol, and I got the last two guys with the pistol. So
nice.
And then got the flag, and I kind of felt pretty good about that.
Dude, that's dope.
I was like, I've peaked. It's never going to get better than this.
Nah, it'll get better. You can definitely do better than that. Okay, so what are you working on at the moment? Is there anything you want to tell the viewers about? Is there a web page you want people to check out?
I'm personally not that active on social media or anything like that. There's nothing in particular I'm working on. I'm just trying to get better at this airsoft stuff and trying to get better at doing the peaking and like trying to become a bit more patient with things and being able to like make better judgment calls. So yeah, I'm just trying to get better at airsoft at the moment, and then I think maybe as I get a bit better and stuff, I'll maybe start to record what I do a bit more so that I can better critique myself.
And I hear that.
But I still feel like I'm definitely a beginner to some extent. So,
all right, man. Thank you so much for your time today. It was really nice having a chat about this. Thank you for being the first guest on the podcast. It's been enlightening.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm happy. It's been an honor to be on the show and stuff and be able to share some of my views and stuff.
All right, so I'll post Dan's Insta and Twitter links below. Please check him out and drop some likes. All right, bye.